late arrival. Let me see whether I can up the brightness without blinding myself. Dogs. What can I say? Doggy darling. Love it a bit. Sometimes she's a right royal pain in the backside. Okay, folks. This is a TrampCast Hangout. Although I could just as easily have called it a TrampCast Special. My main focus today is to talk about last night's storm and what happened here in the field. I did my early morning reaction, which was part of the video released this morning. But then I spent a lot more time looking around and assessing the extent of not so much damage, but desolation. The weight of some of the things that have been moved and the distances they've moved. The field must have flooded. The field absolutely must have flooded last night. Inside the tent, the floor's wet through. I don't believe it came in through any leak or anything in the roof or anything like that. I think that the field flooded maybe by just a centimetre or an inch, and the water's come in through small holes in the floor. When you walk on the floor of a tent over months and you've got stones and things underneath, you get little tears, little rips where it stretches, becomes thin. I think the water has come in from under, because not only is it inside the tent, but it's inside one of the bedrooms. I've got one of the bedrooms is like a storeroom, and I've got piles of blankets, and the bottom blanket is wet. Nothing on top, nothing's been wet from above or from sides as far as I can tell, but just the bottom blanket of a pile of blankets. You'd be amazed how many blankets I have, folks. Sometimes people just bring me a bag and dump it and don't even tell me, and I just find these bags of sheets and blankets and things. Let me scroll back through. I'll finish my intros in a minute. There's my mate Josie. Hola. There's Mr. Shafter, Mr. S. Hello, Storm Delta Mike, says Drill Sergeant. Interesting name. I think that's the first time I've seen you in chat, perhaps. And Luke Stansfield. Hello. Not sure if we've met before or not. Not sure. There's a lot of Lukes and Lucas around. Okay, folks, let me do my intro. I am Delta Mike. The channel is Delta Mike, down and out in Torrevieja. Down and out, homeless, a tramp, a hobo, an indigent person, a vagrant, a person of no fixed abode, some might say a bum, someone who lives rough on the streets, or in my case, in a field. I've almost got that memorized now, folks. We're almost there with memorizing it. So that's Delta Mike, that's the down and out, Torrevieja, that's a city on the southeast coast of Spain, and we were just hammered yesterday by an absolute bloody belter of a storm. Weather forecasts were for between 3, 4 or 5 millimeters in total for the day. No, just fucking no. Once the rain arrived, somewhere around 9 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock, once it arrived, it was torrential for 10 hours plus. It stopped once. I had to wait until 3:30 in the morning to take my doggy out for her nightly ablutions. It stopped for about a quarter of an hour and then started up again pretty soon thereafter. And I went right through until somewhere after 8 this morning. And I think the field flooded, as I say. If you saw those 3 logs that had moved, or 4, I think it's 4 logs have moved 10 meters. Logs, big heavy bits of wood. Tina's chariot, Tina's Spartacus chariot, which I will shine a light on now, if YouTube is with me. Went from over there, which is what? It's like a good 3-4 meters away. It went from over there to colliding with this chair when this chair was another meter back. So it moved that chariot, the doggy wheelchair. It moved it 4 or 5 meters. So yeah, that's fairly spectacular. Now, are you gonna say hello, Tina? Hey, babe. Hey, hello. Hello. Come on, you were almost there. You almost turned around. Come on. Come and say hello. You're not going to say hello, are you? Come on. Yeah, you go. There's Tina. Okay, back with the real star of the show, as I like to pretend. Beverages for the evening, folks. Beverages for the evening. I'm just finishing off a little bit of something on cola. After which, it will be reversed for you, but that's just Tinto Verano. Red wine of summer. I think it's red wine and cola, plus maybe some other fruity thing. Carbonated water, Vino Tinto. Zumo de Uva. I think that's grape juice. Uva? UVA. Someone check that for me if you would. And a part of concentrated something or other, and then some kind of acidizer corrector, so some kind of stabilizer basically. Acido citrico, so that's a citric acid. And then some colorants and cyclamato, sodico, cyclamato, don't know, sodico, sounds like sodium, I don't know, and saccharin, says sweetener, aromas and colorings. There you go. Tinto Verano, that will be the main drink of the evening, because surprise, surprise, I've run out of beer. Don't panic, folks, don't panic. I still have a half bottle of vodka and 2 litres of red wine, I think, after this. Uva is great, thank you for confirming. Cheers. I thought it was, I just wasn't 100% sure. Just scrolling back, make sure, Karen's in the house. Hold on. You could consider raising everything off the floor using pallets. I do have planks, not pallets, but if you remember way back, I think at the beginning of summer or maybe halfway through spring, somebody dumped a bed at the top of the road in parts. A guy was throwing rocks at me at 2 or 3 in the morning. And I just marched straight towards him while he's throwing the fucking rocks. I just took a chance that they were going to miss. And if he'd not jumped in his van and gone away when he did, I'd have been throwing them back at his van. But he took the hint and left. But I picked up a lot of the planks, which I have. I'm going to tape 2 together, one on top of the other for the extra height. Give me about 2 inches, I think. And lay a cover of those on the floor and span things across them, just to get things off the floor. This is going to be rare, folks. Don't be panicking about me. 10 hours of torrential rain happens once every 2 or 3 years. That's not the norm. What I am going to do probably, I'm going to go up and do some work in that ditch at the top of the field. I'm going to be the change I want to see in the world. I'm going to take my saw and secateurs, and I'm going to remove some of the I'd call them weeds, but they're bigger than me. I'm going to remove those, cut them right off at the ground level, so that any water there has a clearer path into the road. And I think I've still got a sweeping brush here, have I? I'm not sure, I haven't seen it in a while. I think I've got a sweeping brush. I'm going to clear some of the, there's like gravel pooled at the top where the water brings crap with it, and then it pools and it leaves the crap behind. And that's clogging the egress of the water. So it comes from the right through a channel, really big deep channel, about 3/4 of a metre deep, the channel, and then they expect it to run uphill to get onto the road. Really? Yeah, they do. It has to run uphill to get onto the road. The road has a concrete kind of a basin, very slight, shallow thing, and channels it across, and then it's supposed to go and carry on running downhill through a channel to a gully and away to the sea. But the whole thing's overgrown, isn't being maintained, and is getting clogged with detritus and with overgrowth of vegetation. Like I said, between a saw and, I mean, I used to have a fucking pickaxe. Would have been ideal. And I only got rid of it 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, when we prepared for the new tent. I don't know the exact dates. I'd have to look back. But it's always just after, I had it for 3 years, 2.5 maybe. It's always just after you throw something away and you say, no, I haven't used it in 2.5 years, I'm not going to need that. Bang, then you need it. But I'm going to be the change I need to see in the world. I'm not going to be able to complain to Torrevieja Town Hall and get anything done. So I'm going to... The channel's pretty much clear until the part where it exits the channel and tries to go on the road. And then it's all these fucking bamboo bushes and Christ knows what else, but they're bigger than me, like I said. The ditch was dug out in December. Well, this December it will be 3 years since that happened, just after I moved in here. Because I remember panicking. Woke up one morning, there's a fucking bulldozer and a backhoe in the field, and I had to go and ask them, was my tent safe? It wasn't even a tent at the time. It wasn't a tent, was it? In fact, I'd not even put the shelter up at that point. I was just living in the field. Fuck. The tent didn't go up until somewhere just after between Christmas and New Year. I built a bed, and then I built a shelter around the bed. So this would have been the first or second week of December that they were working here. And I've got these workmen with fucking bulldozers and backhoes in the field. I had to go and ask them what size zone, what size area, what's the word? Something like Ketamano Zona, what size area? Approximate translation. And then say, acampar in El Campo. I'm camping in the field. Pidgin Spanish, obviously. I'm British. We're no good at languages, as a general rule. But yeah, it hasn't been maintained since. And in particular, the exit. Basically, the exit from the top of the field onto the road, and then from the field to the slipway that goes down to the gully, are both overgrown to shit. Very, very lush green stuff growing there. But this is what's causing the problem, and the detritus, the kind of the gravel that's been left behind when the water does slip away, gets deposited at the top of the road. Is blocking that channel, and a lot of the water was coming down the road. I said about how I thought I was stepping into a shallow puddle to try and get over into the road proper at the track. But it was ankle deep. Fucking, my socks have been wet through. I've just had to put them back on. I forgot to put them out. I've got a towel out here that was drying. That was inside the door. We had a bit of leakage to begin with. I was slow to close the door. Every time. I sit there listening to the rain, and I'm happy it's raining, and I forget to close the fucking doors. And because it's an arch, because the whole thing's like a polytunnel, where you've got the doorway, the edge of the doorway, if you drop vertically, you're inside the tent. The widest part is the floor at the bottom. Really they should make them go out and then back in a little bit at the bottom, maybe. I don't know. That way some drips could fall outside the tent, not in. I've no idea how hard that would be to do. I don't know. But yeah. So pallets. Once I can get out and about more. So I got the dog chariot now. So that takes kind of 2 hands to handle. One, well, I've got to steer her, but I've got to be able to pick her up and onto curbs and things, because the Spanish are not very good at the disability access and the little ramps up and down from pavements to road. They're not great at it. So I have to be available to get Tina. Also, I haven't been anywhere yet because I knackered my legs the last time I went out. A month ago now, over a month ago. So it's tricky. I'll get there. Once I'm mobile again, we'll have a go. That was Karen arriving. Yeah, bamboo. Whenever you get a lot of water here, you get these tall bamboo, not shoots, but plants. Bamboo grows fast. Put his tent in a boat. That would do it. Sail away to a free hotel. Yeah. With Enya playing in the background, a bit of Orinoco flow. Sail away, sail away, sail away. Oscar, hello mate. Super enriched Oscar. Is it legal to place an old caravan there? I don't know about legal, but it would be really difficult to do because it drops down from the road. There's quite a step down in most of it. And driving through here, I get enough grief from the police as it is. I think switching from tent to caravan would probably bring me more trouble than it was worth. Plus, where do you get an old caravan from? I've no idea. Maybe the residents at the bottom might put in a complaint about the water running down the road and through the field, and yeah, it is digging away at the road. The road is eroding. That's the word I'm looking for. Tina, what are we doing, darling? What's going on? Hey, babe. Come for a cuddle. You finish your food? Yeah. You're turning around. So yeah, they may well put in a complaint if it carries on running down the road and eroding it. I'm assuming they're the reason that the ditch was dug in the first place, at the top of the field. That year it had flooded twice, October the 10th and November 10th to 11th overnight. It flooded 3 times really, because it flooded twice in one morning, November the 11th. I remember it well. And a lot of what I see around the field today reminds me of how the field was after that. So there's all this leaf matter. And so there's millions of leaves on the floor, especially under the trees back there. And when it floods, they all lift up together, and then as it drains, they all move and kind of form a pile. They get left behind by the water, but in one spot. So it clears the floor, and it was very much like that in places. And then did you see all the clumps of grass that washed through and got deposited against Tina's wheelchair and my chair and things? It's very much like it flooded. I think it did, but only by who knows. It didn't flood inside the tent, but we did take water, I think, from underneath, as I say. I'm fairly sure it flooded, folks, and I don't like that. Now, how often are we going to get 10 hours of torrential rain, almost non-stop? Not too often, I hope. But we had it before. That October 10th, 11th, 3 years ago, was of that order of magnitude. Now, at that point, something up the hills held it back and then gave way, and a whole fucking shitload came down at once. I got smacked on the back by almost a metre high wave when it came into the field. Hit me on the back, and fortunately I'd just got onto my feet, but I was squatted down. I had a tent over my head. A makeshift tarpaulin kind of an A-frame kind of tent, but just with a tarp and heavy stones. But all my belongings were at one end. Bags I could hardly pick up, and they all got shunted X number of meters that way, 5, 7, 10 meters from the force of this wave, the first wave that hit. Incredible, really. Amazing that I managed to stay on my feet under this tent, makeshift tent, while kind of squatted down. But it hit me like shoulders and neck, this wave when it first came in. Really quite incredible. Then we waited for it to drain and drain and drain and drain. It got like down to my calves. It got like ankle deep. And then another one came in again. That was a hell of a day. Hell of a day. Fortunately, last night I kind of slept through most of it. Hello, Nikki Dunn. Take care. I shall do my best to do so. Karen has to go. She'll be back later. Okay. Let me... Oh, I'm not even on live chat, look. I'm probably missing out on... Yeah, look. Probably missing out on stuff. There's Scotty808. Some good weather coming at the weekend, Mike. Sunshine and 30 degrees. Yeah, I'm sick of 30 degrees, to be honest. I'm ready for a bit of autumn. I don't want the cold that comes in late January and into February. Cold at night. It's not cold through the day in those months. It's never cold through the day. But I don't fancy the 3, 4, 5 degree nights. Having said that, electric blanket, folks, in a tent. Come on. Come on. I better check that's not the thing that's on the bottom of the pile. I don't think it is. What I'm going to do in a couple of days, I'm going to empty this storage bedroom, the storeroom in the tent. I'm going to bring it once the surfaces where I would put stuff down, once they've dried off, the kind of the sunbed thing. Once those have dried off, I'm going to empty that room, put those wooden planks down. As I said, I'm going to put them 2 deep and duct tape them together so that it creates a couple of inches room off the ground. Sort through things, and because since I moved everything out and moved stuff back in, I've been gifted some more. I've got more than I know what to do with. I could give bedding to like 3 other people and not notice that it's gone. Bedding and towels. Sheets, blankets. I think I've even got a spare quilt still, and I've got the electric blanket. It's not bad for a tramp. I've also got more jackets, more coats than I know what to do with. I've got at least 7 that I know of, and every now and again I'll open a bag and there are things that I don't even know. I just did it yesterday morning before the rain, because I was expecting rain all day. I went and opened a couple of bags that I'd left in the field from when I emptied the last tent and that never got put back inside. There's a load of stuff there in a bag I'd never seen before. A load more blankets, and I think one of them, blankets and sheets, but I think there's curtains as well, which I guess you could just use as a heavy sheet. So yeah, stuff like that. I'm going to bring them all out, sort through them. I do have to filter a little bit. I have to get a little bit more, what's the word? decisive. I have to be a bit more cutthroat about what to keep and what not to keep. Which is a shame. If someone's given me something and I just throw it away without using it, even if I put it by the bins in case somebody else finds it and wants it, I still feel like I'm doing a disservice to the people that donated. But sometimes people donate and don't ask what I want or what I need. They just... it used to be I would go like for a walk or to the park or something, come back and there'd be a bag of things just left on a chair. Don't know who left them, don't know what they've left. And it might be something that I've already got 6 of. Like I said, jackets, coats. So many. Too many. Today was a nice day, later on, sunny, 25. Yeah, 20, you see 25 is about right. 25, 26, that's the sweet spot, I think. Somewhere down around 22, 23, I start to feel a little chilly. In fact, I've got a jumper on tonight. I don't know what the temperature is right now, probably 22 or 23. But I put the jumper over the top just because I didn't want to be putting it on halfway through. You've not got the wind blowing in the microphone, have you? How are we for audio, folks? Let me know. I will just blitz to the bottom. Oh, I am at the bottom already. Unless chat's hiding from me. No, I think I've got everything. There is a bit of a breeze and it is kind of coming from over that way. If you're getting popping in the microphone, do let me know, because I've got the magic pan scrub to keep the wind off the microphone. Josie says it's okay. Okay, I'll until somebody says otherwise, I'll believe you. Just gonna finish this. And then I can start on the on tonight's proper stuff. Provided by Karen, this one. Tinto Verano. Red wine of summer. Whoa, you fuck. I hate that delayed reaction. I thought we were alright. I'd popped it open, nothing happened, so I opened it even more. And then it waited 2 or 3 seconds and then it fizzed over. Okay. Here we go. For those of you around the world that wonder why all your pop bottles and all your plastic bottles do this, you can thank the EU. They dictated that, and when a block of, what is it, nearly 400,000 people? 400 million people. When a block that big wants something, the manufacturers just make the same for everybody. They're not going to make an EU bottle and a US bottle. They just, everybody gets the same kind of top. That's just the way it is, folks. But I agree, it's annoying as hell if you want to drink straight out of the bottle. Trying to move the lid out of the way of your nose so that you can get into it properly. Thank the people who just throw rubbish into nature. Yeah, there's that as well. When you're on a beach and something and you're standing on pop bottle lids. That's a fair point. But in terms of legislation, it was the EU. Okay, folks. What else can I say about the storm as it was? I mean, again, 10 hours almost continuous. I literally had to wait until 3:30 to take the dog for her evening ablutions. We would normally go 10, 11, maybe 12 o'clock, midnight. But we had to wait while 3:30 for a break in the weather. And as far as I'm aware, and I was awake most of the night after that, as far as I'm aware, that was the only break in the rain. In fact, I think I did a 2:30. If you watch today's video, one of the clips was from 2:30 in the morning, I think. And that was so loud. I was watching a video and the rain was so loud on the tent that I couldn't hear the video. I could only carry on watching it because it had subtitles. I have got two Bluetooth speakers that I probably could have used, but they weren't powered up in advance. I should look at that. One of those barrel Bluetooth speakers, one of them got very, very wet earlier in the year, during spring, when we had a lot of water come into the previous tent, and it kept doing random things. The water inside was making random connections, kind of pressing random buttons. I don't think I've used it since. I don't even know if it's still... It might have shorted out for all I know. I kept doing the long press to turn it off, and half an hour later, just at random, it would just power up and Bluetooth mode active. Fuck off. It's like having a haunted radio. So it's got a radio mode and a Bluetooth mode, and then there's a line in, I think. The radio's terrible. The antenna does nothing. But I got a little bug one, a little pebble, I guess it would be a better description, a little pink pebble that works fairly reliably. So I could have switched to those if it did get any louder, and if I couldn't hear it, and if I was watching something that didn't have subtitles. It's just a bus, babe. Hey, it's just a bus. It's just a bus. She's protecting me from the evils that are public transport up on the main road. That's my girl. Folks, if you would, thumbs ups are always appreciated. I love the sound of rain on a tarp or a tent. I used to like it on caravan roofs when I was a kid. Because although you can hear it, you know that you're going to stay dry from it. With tarps, if it's a fairly new tarp, yeah. On the tent, that's always dodgy. When you're like this, when you're using the tent permanently, they're really not designed for it. They're not meant for it. They're not meant to be a permanent shelter. A day here, 2 days there, a weekend, maybe a week, 10 days at a push, and then put it away and use it once more in the year. That's kind of what they're designed for. 10 days twice a year, for 4 or 5 years. That's kind of their raison d'etre. They're not meant for just put up and live in them for 6 months. Which is why I've got a tarp over the top in the first place, to try and keep the ultraviolet off. But it's not only ultraviolet that causes problems, just heat in general gets them eventually. Tina, what are you doing to my chair, darling? Why is my chair rocking? Give it a second. Oh, because you're huddled right up to it. Hello, babe. You okay? Are you okay? Oh. Tickling her chin. She loves it. She loves having her chin stroked. Hey, babe. Hello, you. You didn't want to say hello to the peoples, though, did you? And I'm talking to the peoples right now. Got to talk to the peoples. Yeah. Nice peoples. Some of them might even send us some money sometimes. Got to get the grift in, folks, you know. Rain is a nice sound if you're safe. Yeah, yeah. Makes a huge difference. Yeah. Yeah, everything's internet now, isn't it? See, there's whole generations that have grown up that will never see Jack Frost, you know, the frost patterns on the inside of a window. Like in the 70s, when I was growing up, you'd get up in the morning and there'd be these ice crystals on the inside of the window, and they look like flowers or plants. Probably 2 generations grown up since then, never going to see that because of double and triple glazed windows and central heating and all of that. We didn't even have central heating when I was a kid. Not until I was about 10, maybe. Probably around the same time that we got a telephone and a colour telly. I think I was about 10 for all of those. All of those things happened in quick succession. And 3 years later, VHS recorder, video recorder. What does it stand for? Video home system, maybe, VHS. But yeah, whole generations growing up without knowing the hardships. You know, when you remember before microwave ovens and how they had to have like TV programs to educate you about how to use a microwave oven and about how it heats the food and not the plate. Well, not the plate directly anyway. That would get it by conduction, maybe, from the food. The plate would heat from the hot food, but back then, not from the microwave. Nowadays, some of them do. You can put plates in the microwave to heat them up. They'll mix small bits of metal in the clay in the pottery, so that you can put a plate in the microwave and warm it up. Hey, who knew? My mum called them ice flowers. Yeah. You get these shapes. They look like leaves or fronds of a fern. I think they're called fronds, aren't they? The leaves of a fern. Yeah. Roger arrives. Hello, Roger. You want to start at the beginning, then catch up tomorrow? Okay, mate. Then you won't hear me until tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. Wind is picking up now. Let me check where I am power-wise. I am down to 59, so that's not too bad. I can do this. I can do that. We'll see if that makes a difference. It's only a thin sponge, so it won't block everything. Hopefully you still hear me okay. They enjoy digi stuff. We saw all the wonders of nature. I show them to my grandchildren. Now they believe in magic again. Yeah. I guess a lot of these things like the ice, I don't know what to call them, the ice pictures, the ice carvings, the ice flowers. They're never going to see that on the inside of their bedroom window like I did as a kid. When you would pack multiple blankets over the top of you. Oh, you see, this is before. Okay, let's do this one. Duvets, or continental quilts, as we first called them. They were this foreign thing that we weren't used to. A single big, fluffy, feathery, quilted blanket, I guess. Continental quilts, we called them. I remember before those were a thing. Certainly before they were in widespread use in the UK. We were just sheets and blankets before then, with what we called a bedspread, or there's a more posh valance, wasn't it? It's a valance. The bedspread, slightly quilted, top. I don't know whether you'd call it a blanket or a sheet, and then the frills going down the side. Bedspread if you were normal, valance if you were posh. All of these things that changed and that happened. Telephones, colour TV, VHS recorders, microwave ovens, central heating. Term might not mean anything in other countries. I don't think America do. America tend to do central air to heat places rather than hot water pumped around pipes and radiators, which is central heating. Hunt frock babies with them, put them in a glass bowl and see them chancing frocks. Hunt frock babies. Lost me. Hunt frock babies. I think we've lost something in translation. Put them in a glass bottle maybe and see them dance maybe in frocks. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Josie. I think we've lost something in translation. I'll look up that word. Oh, the word is blocked. There aren't many words that I've set to block. It's mainly my name. I don't allow my name, my real world name, in chat. But that's pretty much the only word I've blocked, I think. Oh, I forgot I'd switched drinks. Oh, that took me by surprise. Okay, I was expecting brandy and cola still, and I got fizzy Tinto Verano. Okay. Oh, that's quite sharp. Yeah, that's the citrus stuff. The citric acid, probably. Okay. It's better second time around. Once I knew what I was expecting. It took me by surprise, the first one. Oh, tadpoles. Yeah. Tadpoles. Put them in a glass bottle and see them dancing frogs. I'm going with. Oh, change into frogs. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. You see, it takes me a while sometimes to, I gotta go, I've got to be more, what's the word? The sound of words. I gotta be more, why can I not remember that word? Oh, I hate this when this happens. Phonetic, there you go. I got to be more phonetic with my reading sometimes. Tadpoles change to frogs, yeah, and Mr. S had tried to signal it. I wondered what the frog was for. Now I know. And now we can start guessing your name. Anybody who contacts me gets my name. I will sign most emails and most PayPal thank yous. I'll usually put my real name at the end, my first name and initial anyway. I mean, if you want to start guessing, feel free. Delta Mike is the phonetic alphabet of my first name and last name. DM. D for Delta for D, and M, and Mike for M. DM. That's me. It's not a big secret. If you watch TrampCast 001, I blurt it out about 6 times. Basically, every time I tell Tina to calm down. Tina's okay. Daddy, first name is okay. And I say it out loud. I wasn't very well trained at not saying my name. So I doxed myself about 6 times in TrampCast 001. So if anybody wants to know it, that's where you go looking. Too many names start with D. Yeah, probably. But just go watch TrampCast 001. There's another one, I think before I put the rule in place, where a friend from back in the UK messaged me in chat and used my name. I don't know whether applying those rules works retrospectively. I don't know whether that's now blocked because of the rule that I put in place later. But that's pretty much the only word I've blocked. Now, Google might do some of their own. What's the word I'm looking for? Oh, my head is cooked, isn't it? What is censoring? There's a word. Google might do their own censoring. They might have their own lists. But I don't. I censor very little. I block very few people. Typically only people that are what's the word? Venomous, poisonous. People that come in and are just nasty. They get blocked. But it's. I think it happened twice in one night. Well, not even recently. 2 months ago, maybe. Twice in one night. I think I'd been on the Scottish couple in Spain's channel, and I got an influx of new subscribers, but also some less well-intentioned people coming in and going, "Oh, poo! I can smell him from here." That kind of shit. They got blocked 2 in one night. Yeah, just do a PayPal donation. There you go. You want to know my name? Do a PayPal donation. You'll get first name and well, you don't get the surname. You only get an initial. But yeah. Isn't frog a bad name for French people? I don't know, has it been bad? It's not like the N-word or anything, but it is certainly a humorous word that Brits would use to call them names, and they call us roast beef. So it's, you know, we've always had that joking rivalry, and sometimes it's not joking. I used to say that our nuclear weapons were default, that they spend 99% of time aimed at France, and it's only if Russia says or does something stupid that we actually point them elsewhere. A couple of messages, let me scroll back. Your friend arrived but drove on to the house, my brother's house in Cabo de Payos. Don't know that one. Cabo Roig is about the only Cabo I know. Cabo is Cape, I think, isn't it? Cape of, and then whatever Palos means. Payos. Double L is a Y. Or a J if you're from Madrid. I think, sometimes. It's about the attitude the French have. Yeah. Are your friends coming on Friday's your birthday? Okay, we'll have to. And okay. Well, I'll have to remember to say happy birthday to you nearer the time. I know we might be meeting up sometime soon. Unfortunately, I'm not in a position to buy you anything. I don't think. We'll see. We'll see. I might be able to work something out. Let me go top chat, live chat, just to make sure I'm not missing anything, because it does happen sometimes. No, I think I'm there. I think I'm there. Anybody got any questions about the more south? Oh, more south. Cartagena. Cartagena is down Murcia way, isn't it? Where Hannibal Is it where he landed, or did he grow up here? I think he grew up here. So there's a Carthage in, is it Tunisia or Libya? I think it's Tunisia. There's a real Carthage. And so that was the metropolis, the mother city. And then Cartagena here was the daughter city, if you like. And the guy with the elephants, Hannibal, I think he grew up here. But sent off to Africa and got some elephants. And went to stomp one of the Caesars, Julius maybe. I'm not 100% on my years there. But could have been. He went off to battle Rome anyway. And he gave him a bloody good scare. But he lost in the end. And that was the... not Pythic, what's the word? It was a set of wars. It's got a P at the beginning, I'm fairly sure. P-Y, P-I. Okay, Mr. S, see you soon. What were those wars? I've got a word, something like Pythic, but I know that that's nonsense. Don't know. It was a whole set of battles anyway, a whole set of wars. And Josie's already got everything she needs and wants. People always say that. What do you get the person who's got everything? A burglar alarm, usually. Cheers, folks. Oh, that does have quite the bite. Quite the citrus sharpness. Cheers to everyone who's given us a thumbs up. Thumbs ups are always appreciated. Obviously this isn't going to be a record-breaking stream, but has anybody got any more questions or want to know any more about the after effects of last night's storm? I guess that was supposed to be the topic for today. It was amazing, the stuff that... You see, the frying pan that moved. It already had water in it to kind of soak at the beginning of everything, and yet it moved, what, 3 meters? It filled up and moved. You alright down there, babe? Tina's okay. Daddy's okay. Yeah, what else? I still don't understand. If you look at where Tina's chariot... Oh, I can't do that. I showed it earlier. Tina's doggy wheelchair, her chariot, is kind of 3 meters that way. And there's hardly enough room. I would have had difficulty like just wheeling it through in between this table and this laundry bin. And it was right through here and against this chair. And those logs. Those logs are heavy. I had to move them one at a time. I could probably have picked them 2 at a time. I'm a big strong lad. But how they moved, however far that is, 5 meters, 7 meters, whatever, from there to here, beyond me. Really, no idea. Incredible. Incredible. And some of the stuff that's around the other side of this tree. There was an aluminium, I don't know what to call it. I used to use it as a pan for boiling water for the doggy. Fill it up and put it on the fire. That had water in already, plus it filled with and then it moved around. Incredible. Some of the things that moved and how... Some of the bottles that I thought were empty, that I thought they'd just blown around like in the wind. There was a 6-litre water bottle, half full, carried off around there. So I just floated. in, I don't know what depth of water it would need for that to float. Roughly half full, a 6 litre bottle, roughly half full, has floated on whatever level of water was here and has moved a total distance, probably 7 or 8 meters in total, but following an arc around this bush before it settled. This morning I just thought, oh, it's blown, you know, it's just blown away. But I didn't notice strong winds, not while I was awake. I fell asleep probably 11 and woke up to somewhere between 2 and past. That was pretty much me done. That was pretty much my entire sleep. I was awake, more or less. I mean, I probably did doze while listening to videos. I remember I was watching a 30-minute YouTube video and I had to rewind it 10 or 15 minutes at one point to pick up from where I last remembered. But yeah, no, it was incredible to pick up that 3 litres of water and it must have floated. This is what makes me think the field flooded. I can tell, I can tell the leaves under the trees over there, the way that they've all lifted up, moved over and then settled all in one spot against an obstacle. So as the water's drained, it's lifted up, lifted the leaves, and then as it's drained away, it's put all the leaves on top of each other in one corner. I've no idea how my tent didn't flood. I got a very wet carpet in there. In future, I'm not going to put a carpet in the middle part of the tent. I want to be able to see what's happening, what's coming in, where, and to be able to sweep the floor. I think carpets are a nice. Well, they're brand new. You know, if you find an offcut or a rug or a good sized piece of carpet by the bins, it's a nice idea for the first couple of months. After that, they're filled with dust, and then the first time you get a leak, either from underneath or from the sides or from the roof, whatever, and they just become a sludgy mess. Walking barefoot in my tent this morning, I stood on the carpet and the water squelched up between my toes, and there was a brown puddle over the top of my feet. And then I've got to do whatever I'm doing, get a pee or whatever, and I've got to go get back into bed or on the bed with soggy, wet, muddy feet. It's a little bit less than ideal. So next time, no carpet, I don't think. It was a nice idea while it lasted, but you could dig a trench. Yeah, if I'd kept my pickaxe. It'd be a lot of work because it's a cliff top, it's solid rock. As soon as you get down more than a few inches. Even before you get down a few, it's 50-50 whether you can get a tent peg into the ground. You'll have to have 2, 3, sometimes 4 goes to get a tent peg into the ground without hitting either big stones or actual bedrock. So yeah, dig a trench. That was, if anyone remembers a guy called Jasper. Where are you, Jasper? Come and say hello. Jasper was dig a hole. Yeah. If anyone remembers Jasper and his sheep. Nice guy, nice guy. He's got a YouTube channel. Do I know what it's called? No. But he's got a Russian or Ukrainian girlfriend, I think. He's English, very strong Cornish accent, or somewhere down there anyway. Devon, Cornwall, Uar. But he's either in Germany or the Netherlands, I think. I'll have to ask him one day. Remind me where he's at. I was just getting to know his sheep, and then he used to have 3. Then he had just the last one left. I was just getting familiar with it, and it died. He went out and bought another load, another lot of sheep. Doesn't know how to edit videos, so he does a single take, and it's usually quite choppy and yeah. But I like Jasper. I liked him. Haven't seen him in a while. It would be a lot of work, and I gave the pickaxe. I threw the pickaxe away. It wasn't really. I'd never seen a tool like it. A pick on one side, a single pointed, you know, the bent stick of a pick. The other side was the same, but with two running parallel. You know, like a claw and a claw hammer, but a pickaxe, two of them. I don't know what it was technically. But it would have been useful if I was trying to dig a hole. I think if there's enough water to fill a whole field with an inch of water, it would probably overflow any trench I was capable of digging here. I don't know, folks. I don't know. How's the wind on the audio now? I got to keep an eye on power. Oh, I can't see it because 47%. Okay. Sorry, I'm in the way of the. I'm in the way of the camera. I had to stabilize the phone while I manipulated the sponge. Let me see. No, you could dig a trench. That was the last post, was it? It was. Okay, folks. Topics. Has anyone got anything to talk about? I just saw somebody hit the like button. Thank you for that. Appreciated. Mr. S. Neighbours of a friend of mine had a couple of sheep. One night they broke into the shed with the food in it. Oh no. Ate themselves to death. Oh shit. Can they do that? It's a flower. Rose, if I remember correctly. I think it's Rose. It's definitely a flower name. Hence the it's a flower. Let me see if I can. Oh. No. Handsome. You gotta stop this. It is Rose. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for confirming. I thought that was a really clever username or handle on YouTube. I thought that was good. Yeah, I like that. But this whole handsome stuff. You might want to get yourself to Specsavers. Okay, folks, what are we going to talk about now then? We've covered last night's storm and I don't think we've taken any damage in the actual tent. I think Mike is very handsome. Yeah, I don't know where we're going with that, folks. I'll just say thank you. I'll take it in the spirit it's intended. Whilst disagreeing vehemently. I don't think we took any damage in the actual tent other than the water getting in and making the carpet wet. Fortunately, my bed is off the ground now because we got the, you know, when you've got legs on a bed and then you've got a metal frame, a rounded cornered rectangle, and that would usually be on top of the legs. I've got that frame with all the springs. Oh, actually, I think it's wooden lats across, and they're good. There's not cheap ones. You get a lot of these really thin, almost plywood lats or slats, whichever word you prefer, on some of these bed frames in Spain. But this had good, like almost an inch thick planks across on the top of the rounded rectangle. So no legs, it's on the ground, but you've got the depth of the frame, and then you've got the depth of the planks on top, and then I've got two mattresses, one on top of the other. So I am a few inches off the ground if water does get in. We planned for that. I don't think there was any water in the bedroom end of the tent, but as I mentioned before, piles of blankets and piles of clothes. The bottom layer was on the floor in this end of the tent, the second bedroom, and those got damp. Not like wringing wet or anything, but they got damp. So some water got in, has to get into the tent, and then it has to get through the second layer. The bedroom is its own self-contained layer, so it's got through two layers of plastic, and I'm fairly sure it's bubbled up from the field flooding. I don't think we've got leaks in the tarp and tent in any one position. Has to have come bubbling up from underneath. Possibly, if you remember a few weeks ago when I had a couple of mice, they might have bitten their way through somewhere. Again, it's another reason to empty this end of the tent, sort through things, inspect the floor, and see if there's been any incursion of rodentia. I might need some more of those mouse traps. They are phenomenal, but I've only got 4, and there's a limit to how much space you can cover with 4 mouse traps. But they are phenomenal. I love the way that excuse me. I love the way those plastic teeth come down and interlock and chomp the mices. I hate mices to pieces, as Mr. Jinx used to say. What was that called? Pixie and Dixie? Was that the name of the cartoon? Pixie and Dixie? I think it was. Pixie and Dixie were the 2 mice, and Mr. Jinx was the cat. And he hated mices to pieces. So glad me and the dog are okay. Yeah. Hold on, someone's arrived, I didn't see it. What's harder to deal with, storms or high heat? That's an interesting question, RJ. Well, the heat this year has been absolutely phenomenally bad. We've this region has had more than 100 tropical nights this summer. That's a night where the temperature never falls below 20. As far as I know, we haven't had any nights at all since we got the first tropical night. I don't think we've had a single night where it's fallen below 20. We've had a few nights where it was 20, but from my recollection of the weather forecast, even this next week, 20 is as low as it goes. The Tuesday of next week, I think, is predicted to hit 19 for maybe 1 hour just before sunrise. It has been amazingly warm. I mean, it's hot through the day, don't get me wrong, it's very hot through the day at times. We had, what was that one? 38 feels like 44. I think we had one time. Because of the humidity and whatever, 38 feels like 44. And that's in the shade. And when you're in a tent that's basically a polytunnel, it's like a greenhouse, it's warmer than that inside. So that's what you got through the day, and you hope for a bit of relief from it at night. And at times we didn't. We had some nights where it didn't fall below 30. They have a word for that as well. So tropical nights don't fall below 20. Then at 25 they call them It's like Caribbean nights or something. I can't remember exactly. And when it doesn't fall below 30, they call them equatorial nights. I think I was reading this earlier. I could have the names wrong, but those are your cut-off points. 20 degrees Celsius, 25 degrees, and 30 degrees Celsius. They call them, those 30 degree ones are also called hell nights or hellish nights. Is another term used by meteorologists. Because the human body can't relax properly. You can't relax in those temperatures. It's okay if you've got a fan or aircon, but for those of us that don't, now I do have a fan. But using AC has a high overhead for me with the EcoFlow. So going back to RJ's question, which is worse? I mean, storms are always a challenge. You have to be ready. You have to stay dressed. Have your shoes either on or to hand. Fuck, stuff's blowing around. I used to have a storm protocol. I had a set of rules by which I lived during storms. I would have a box on the bed and it would have things in it just in case. A jacket, you know, a coat or some heavy duty waterproof. A spare pair of shoes other than the ones that I would normally be wearing. Dry socks, dry undies, some other pair of trousers in case you get absolutely wet. If I have to come out and start reattaching tarpaulins or repairing tents in the night, I want another set of dry clothes to put on. I've become a little sloppy, a little lazy, because I'm in what I could still consider to be a new tent, and because the field doesn't flood anymore. Maybe that might be ending, but because the field hasn't flooded in almost 3 years, I become a little sloppy, a little relaxed about that stuff. I maybe have to revisit this and start with my storm protocol again. Having a torch to hand, and instead of just having my lantern and whatever other lights I have, Christmas tree lights, fairy lights in the bedroom. Very gay, I know, but they're a nice subtle bit of lighting for always on, you know, for all night long. Not great for in a storm though. You want something a bit stronger to come out and wield. I got head torch. I got head torches, plural. I've been a bit sloppy about keeping batteries charged, AA and AAA, that you plug directly onto USB-C cables. I could do with some more of those really, as we go into winter. Not normal AA and AAA, but the ones that clip onto a USB-C cable. But yeah, I used to have this protocol. I used to have this set of rules: some dry clothes, some extra shoes. In some storms back, if you look at my earlier videos, my first week or two of videos, I would literally sleep with my shoes on. We had 10 days of thunderstorms, and I would crawl onto the bed or into the bed with my shoes on, in case I had to run out and do running repairs, because it wasn't a tent. It was 6 broom handles, 2 chairs, bits of rope, and a broken down tarpaulin. Empty water bottle blowing around. I'll have to go around and pick them all up tomorrow. I did a little bit of tidying up of the camp today. I didn't do too long because it took longer to start to dry out than I expected. I think in the video that I released this morning, I said I would wait until noon and then have a start to tidy up and go pick everything up and put everything back where it belongs. But everything was still really wet at that point. So I waited while about 4 and I had an hour just moving some stuff around, but there's still a lot to go and get, to go and pick up. I need to wash out all of my pans and cups and basically everything that was an open vessel is full, which is an indication of how much it rained. I got a pan here that is what, 3 inches, 7-8 centimeters deep, full. Would have been full to the brim before the winds caused it to splash over and a bit of evaporation in the afternoon. That would have been full. I got cups that are bigger, 4 or 5 inches, that were full of water, that didn't have any water in to begin with, but were full. That's how much it rained. This is on a weather forecast that said at varying times 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters or 5 millimeters total expected rainfall for the day. I got 5 inches. For now. Hey ladies. No, shut up. Stop it. I hate it when I tell myself these dirty jokes. It demeans the channel. So 5 inches, let me translate. About 13 centimeters. That's how much rain I think we had. What's that in millimeters? 130. Yeah. See, there was a warning for further north, for the actual, for Alicante itself and the region around Alicante. There was a warning of 100 millimeters expected. I think we got that and then some, like I've just calculated. 130 mil, I think. 10 hours torrential rain, non-stop almost. Yeah. So there you go. I don't know. So is it harder to deal with heat? See, I've got a fan. Through the day I use it because I've got spare power. Once the EcoFlow will go down to usually 70-75% full overnight, and usually in the first hour or so of actual sun, which is getting later and later, but in the first hour it will get more or less fully topped up. Once it hits 90%, I'll put the fan on and it basically stays on all day as long as I'm in the tent. I've got the 2 doors open for a cross breeze, and then I've got the fan blowing the cooler air into the bedroom where it normally wouldn't go, it would normally miss. So heat, it's been interminably hot, but I've managed. Sometimes friends will bring a bottle of ice. Karen recently has been bringing me a 6-litre bottle frozen. I can use that to cool drinks or to cool beer mainly, but to keep some food cool as well, cheese and ham and stuff, bacon, although bacon doesn't need too much in the way of preservation. As I proved, folks, if you look at my bacon butty video where the bacon was 9 months out of date, no refrigeration, no cool box, in a tent that was regularly hitting 40 degrees plus, and I had a bacon butty with bacon that was 9 months out of date because it's preserved. Being salted is enough because of how salt works to dry the surface and to make a surface that is inhospitable to botulism, which is the main food poisoning. And then the fact that it's, what do you call it, that packed in an airtight, I've lost my vocabulary again, not shrink wrapped, yeah, that anyway, it's in an airtight pack, so there's no air getting to it anyway. 9 months, no problem, 9 months out of date. I think I might still have the other pack. I had a second pack. It'll be about 2 years out of date by now. But if you go watch my 9 months out of date bacon video, a lot of people were very worried for me. Not a problem at all. The bacon fell apart. It lost its coherence, but it was fine. No bad stomach. No acid reflux. No problem on the exit. No problem at all. I think I did bacon and egg butties. Butty is a sandwich for anyone who doesn't speak proper English. Butty comes from the word butter, buttered bread, butty. Most famously, of course, chip butties, but bacon and egg butties are a thing. Or just bacon butties, or egg butties, any kind of butty. Here endeth the English language lesson. Where was I? How did I get onto bacon and eggs and butties and... Oh, I was talking about cooling and cool boxes and staying cool and Karen bringing me ice. A frozen pop bottle, folks. A 1.5 litre bottle filled with water, or 3/4 full with water and then frozen. Put that in a... I've stopped using my electric cooler. I did have an idea the other day to try and solve my issue. I should have thought of this sooner. It's not only a cool box. You know, I think it's infested inside the lid, in the mechanism. There was a lot of insects in there after last winter. It also heats up. I've never flicked the switch to turn it to kind of hot. It doesn't go too hot, but the heat mechanism might burn away whatever dead insect pods or whatever are in there. I might have a go at that. I'm fairly sure I've left food in it this time. When I open it, there's going to be new forms of life in there. Maybe it's a job for tomorrow. Or maybe I'll leave it a few days in case water got into it, into the mechanism during the storm. Shouldn't have, because I lay the solar panel on top from midday onwards when the sun's high, and I leave it there overnight to protect it from rain. We'll see. So anyway, going way back to RJ's question about what's, for me at the minute, I can more or less deal with the heat because solar panel, EcoFlow, big electric fan. Big electric fan. You know, the proper stand-up. The blades are about yay big. So I survived that. Storms are few and far between, especially ones like last night's. They're few and far between. But when they happen, there's a danger. There's particular danger, like when my old tent lost the roof, when the roof blew away one weekend. Got a rip, the rip expanded, kept expanding, and then everything, the fabric started to blow away in pieces. And then it was a case of putting tarps over the top. And then bits of the wall got all frangible, all brittle. Frangible's a lovely word. Bits of the wall got all frangible and started to blow away. So it became a patchwork of tarpaulins over the bones of the tent, just over the frame, the poles. A big storm when everything's just held together with bits of rope or these big crocodile clip type things that I've got. Thank you, Steve. I didn't even know such things existed. But yeah. So yeah, if your tent's already falling apart and you've just got a tarpaulin over the top, then storms are a big deal. And I did get very wet at times in spring, over winter and spring, kind of 6 months, 9 months ago. So yeah, they're both unwelcome in their own way, but I guess I can deal with the heat most of the time with help from friends. I am still looking into getting a fridge. I'm waiting. My friend Ryan might be coming down from Valencia. I think he said in about 10 days or so, maybe. I'm going to check out whether my EcoFlow will power his fridge. And if it will, I'm going to get one. I know buying it at the end of summer is a little bit suboptimal. But you know. The cool box that I bought didn't really work out. I can't remember what the mechanism's called, but it's not a compressor. It doesn't cool properly and efficiently. Very inefficient. And after we got an insect infestation in the mechanism, it was even worse. It wouldn't get down below 20 degrees this summer. Well, when I first got it, it got down to about 13 degrees. Sometimes down to 10. Which is still not ideal, but it's better than bloody 20. So yeah, I guess we'll see. If I had a fridge, especially one with an ice compartment, a freezer compartment at the top, only it's a bit little so it can make ice cubes or something. Tina girl, it's okay. It's just Miguel. It's okay. It's Miguel. It's okay. Hey babe. Tina's okay. Daddy's okay. We're all okay. It's okay. Thank you for the warning, but we're okay. That's my girl. You better not have. I won't take the camera with me. Have you? You have? Fuck. Clean up on aisle 2. Give us a second. Have I got a bag ready? I do not. Oh, doggy. You're supposed to do that. We went for a walk before coming live. I know it's an hour and a half ago, but she's losing... Oh, I'm not going to say it. Give me a second, folks. I'll need to borrow the light. Sorry. Just bear with me. Tina girl, I need you to just move a bit, darling. Move a bit. Hey. Is it? It might not be. You haven't, have you? Okay, I'm sorry, girl. I'm sorry. I'm casting aspersions on my girl's character. She hasn't done any such thing. I'm maligning my girl. Okay, let me plug the light back in. Where's that at? No, if you're there, okay, then you're there. And one more to put it back to full. Okay, folks, sorry about that. False alarm. Let me check the power. %. Okay, we're okay for a while. I will have to plug the phone in at some point, and at which point I can't have the sponge on because the cable will be in the way. I don't think I can anyway. I'll try and finagle it, but we'll see. You got a nice sleeping room there. Yeah. So glad you and the dog are okay, said Rose. I shall bring you duct tape, but no mouse killing installations. I got some duct tape, I think. I might not have enough to put all of these planks together that I want to. Where would you have gone if your tent was destroyed? That's an interesting question. I happen to have 2 emergency fallback tents that different people have brought at different times. Subscriber number 100 deposited a tent here one day way back, and although I haven't used it because it's a small tent and it's bright orange, came in a light green bag, light green cover, but it's fluorescent orange, the actual tent, and I was getting a lot of grief from the police, and I already had a bigger tent, so in an emergency I would fall back and probably put the 2 tents up, one for me and the dog, and one to store the supplies that are in this bedroom here. I have already acquired my next tent. My friend Karen went to her local tip recycling centre. They pick things like tents out of the rubbish and give them a quick once over, give them a quick check, and then they sell them like in a second-hand shop, cabin. I'm not sure what the setup is, but we've already acquired my next tent on the cheap because it's second-hand and from the tip. What's another word for the tip? I haven't got a better word. The garbage, the refuse, the landfill. I don't know whether terms like tip translate for like Americans and Canadians and anybody else. It's called the tip because it's where you tip the rubbish. It's where you dispose of things at the landfill. Although nowadays they tend to have big skips and try and separate out different things, electronics and metal and whatever, recycle what they can. So if my tent was damaged, I've got my 2 emergency fallback tents. Now they'd be smaller than what I'm used to. I don't think I would fit my double mattress, my double bed in. Double bed. I don't think I'd get that in. But I've got a bedroll, I've got 2 survival sleeping bags, I've got lots of bedding as we discussed earlier. So I'd be okay if it was just the tent that was knackered. If I had to leave this field in an emergency, I had no idea where I would go. My friend Joby was staying here until Saturday. Saturday just gone, he moved on. He left this area because he wasn't making enough money busking. So he's moved on, but he's travelled all around Spain on his bicycle. And he's good at just looking at an area and judging whether it's good enough to spend a night or maybe a few nights, maybe a week, and then he'll move on again and move on again and move on again. I've got no idea. I honestly don't know how to be homeless, folks. I would be rubbish at being at moving around. I would have no clue. I lived in the park for 2 months, and then when I got kind of moved on from there, I came here. And despite all sorts of threats from the police and the Guardia Civil and the mayor and the welfare department, here I've stayed. Lots of threats of violence from the police, actual violence from the police, but I stuck to my guns. I told them this was private land and that it's nothing to do with them. If the landowner hasn't complained, they're powerless. It's got nothing to do with them. And eventually I persuaded the head of the Policia Local. He spent 2 hours trying to get me on one thing or another. Cheers to the head of the Policia Local, with all of his scrambled egg, cuff epaulets, and the hat on the peak of the peak cap. Lots of scrambled egg. Lots of yellow gold thread. Fucking. So if I had to move on from here, I've got no idea what I would do or how I would do it. I was joking the other day, I think it was with Joby, I would need a removal van. I've got so much stuff now. Even if you want to like cut it down just to like the electronics, the solar panel, the EcoFlow, the fan, the slow cooker, the electric blanket, my various lights and batteries and things, my electric tennis racket of death for swatting the flies. I'm sure there's loads more that I'm missing that people could remind me of. So much electronics, laptop, tablets, phone. I mean, this phone is hungry for power. This phone is a real nuisance for power. Yeah, I don't know. That's just the electronics. But like trying to take some bedding, trying to take the smaller tents, the 2 small tents that I said. There's a 2-man and a 3-man. Tarpaulins, because one of the tents is bright fuck off orange. I would need to take either a tarpaulin or a ground sheet or something to put over the top to hide it. But I've got chest of drawers. I've got like a bloody Queen Anne armchair. Single seat, but very upright old lady chair. Chest of drawers. Armchair. I don't know what I'd do if I had to move out of the field. I would be lost. Because I haven't, in all this time, I haven't lined up like a backup place. So you need to know that it's private land. Not, if it's public, they can move you on. And move you on and move you on. But if it's private, you need to know it's private land. And give it a go. And hope that the owner of the land either doesn't know, doesn't care, can't be traced. As long as there's no denuncia, a police report. As long as the owner doesn't say I want him gone, you're golden. I wouldn't. A lot of people say, why don't you just go and squat in a building? I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. Firstly, buildings are colder than outside during winter. An unheated building is a lot colder than outside. But secondly, you're damaging someone else's property to gain access, or I don't know. It's not for me. It's a step too far. Taking a corner of a field where you're doing, I would say no harm, but you know, the dog does dig holes every now and again. I am covering a patch of land, so when the tent goes away, there will be an empty patch. But on the whole, not doing any actual harm. Don't know. Interesting question. Just sound hellish. Yeah, when it gets to like 50 degrees inside. YML. Oh, UML. Just joined the live stream, but I hope you survived I did indeed survive. It was last night. Yeah. Yeah, why no 12-volt fan? Because nobody's found one. Got to find them by the bins. Most of the things I own are from the things that people have thrown away. I do have a battery-operated fan and light. If you find, I think it was a short. If you search my shorts for OnlyFans, That was a funny one. This is the only fan I need. I don't know. Terry, hello my friend. Maybe you could get a girlfriend to move in with these looks. Don't start Rose off again. Vacuum seal. There's a. The Peltier won't get it that hot. I'm not sure what. I'm not sure how it warms. I know it cools with Peltier. I don't know what. I don't know whether that's just running reverse for heat or whether it has a proper heating element. I've no idea. Just speed up the growth of new species. Okay, maybe. Maybe cut a hole in the sponge for the charging cable. Oh, you're reminding me that I need to check that. 29. Hello Tom, I didn't see you there. Yeah, the recycling centre, the tip, yeah. Kringloop. Dutch. I can tell that, I just don't know what. Josie's gone for a few minutes. Oh, Mr. S is back. No, you're not, are you? Have you just come back? Oh, you've maybe been there a while. I thought, the last I remember, Mr. S was stepping away for a little while, no? Anthony, has the rain stopped? Yeah, it stopped this morning at about 8 o'clock. We had another little shower, I don't know, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock maybe. Here's Karen stepping back in. Yeah, the rain stopped. The heavy rain stopped, I think about 8 this morning. Like I said, we had one little shower a couple of hours later, but nothing to moan about. I had put the towel that I used on the floor just inside the door to mop up some. I was slow closing the door, so some water did get in, and I put a towel down on the floor. I've got that out to dry, and I'd only just put it out and it started to rain, but it was already wet through, so that wasn't going to make a difference. Very power hungry phone when streaming. Yeah. Oh, it's quite power hungry all the time because I'm using it as like the Wi-Fi router. So when I use the tablet 90% of the time now rather than the phone, but the phone's plugged into power and is obviously it's the gateway to the mobile broadband, doing the Wi-Fi hotspot thing for the tablets. So yeah, it's quite a low battery, a small battery, considering the size of the phone and the size of the screen. It's one of these folds in half kind of things, except it doesn't. But it uses normally when I only had the phone, I would have to charge it about 3 times a day. Now I am using it pretty much 24 hours. I'm either awake or only just falling asleep, and then when whatever video I've got playing stops, I seem to wake up pretty much straight away. Stops playing, I wake up and the screen's still on, so even that like 10-second delay you get after a video stops playing and the screen dulls and goes off, I'm waking up in that first 10 seconds and resetting the video back to wherever I fell asleep. So it's in use all the time. And of course, like an idiot, I left it plugged in all the time, set to load up to 100%. I just changed a setting, I think it was yesterday or the day before, so it only goes to 80%. It bounces between 80 and 20. When it gets down to 20, it starts charging. When it's at 80, it stops and starts to deplete. Just that, it's called something like battery preserve mode or something. Battery saver, maybe. Because I think I was noticing it getting worse over time. And in the day, when you're in a tent that's 40 degrees plus and your phone's charging, it got hot to the touch. So that's not good. Heat and batteries, lithium-ion batteries and heat are not a good combination. So yeah. Your phone gets hot during a video call, must use a lot of electricity. Yeah, I guess it does, yeah. Especially, I don't know what it's broadcasting at the minute. Possibly 1080p. I know I tried to do the video this morning. I tried to render that in 1080p. All the clips were recorded at 1080p. But I didn't have enough disk space free on the phone to render the full video. I think the video was going to be 5.5 gig. And it needed me to clear 10 gig. It needs like double the space for working space. So I had to step that video down to 720 just so that I had enough disk space to upload it. I hope nobody noticed the drop in quality. Shouldn't really be that. If you're watching on a phone or a tablet, it's overkill anyway, 720p. But if you're watching it on a computer with a proper monitor, you might have noticed the drop in quality. Oh, that is still quite sharp. I don't know if you saw Karen, I think you're still here. I'm on the Tinto Verano. And it's a lot more acidic than I remember. There's much more of a citrus bite than the last time. Folks, if you're just arriving, maybe consider a thumbs up. I'll try and entertain you. Let me entertain you. Not like that. Yeah, my phone gets very hot while it's charging. But like I said, it's doing the hotspot thing as well, the mobile hotspot for other devices. And it's in an environment that's already very very hot. In my greenhouse of a tent. Let me make sure I am on live chat, yeah. Mr. Robbie Williams, it was indeed. Never cracked America, did he? Never cracked America. Who was the American actress? Who was the actress that he sang with? Then you go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like "I love you." Was it Nicole Kidman? I think it might have been. Did I hear today that she's split up? She's getting divorced. Maybe she can be the lady that takes on a tramp. A hobosexual. I don't know. Shut up. Get a job, Tramp. Yeah, as a singer maybe. I could be an entertainer. Get a job and an extra criminal record for tax dodging. Hello, Vestino. You just arriving? Okay, folks, who's here? Let's have a shout out in chat from the people that are still here and lurking. If you haven't said hello yet, come and say hello. Talk to a tramp. That was the heading on the image, the thumbnail. Come and talk to a tramp. You know you want to. Hello, Vestino. Yeah, come say hello. There are some lurkers out there. Step out of the shadows. Come and say hello. Oscar's still lurking. Oscar's just afraid that he'd get himself banned by Google stroke YouTube for saying something naughty. Oh, I don't think it mentioned lemon, did it? It did mention citric acid, which I assume gives it that bite. I assume that's what citric acid does. I'm not an expert in these things. Is Jack Attack lurking? Usually. If I was to say I'm going to finish... No, there you go. Usually when I say, right, it's goodbye from Tina and it's goodbye from him kind of thing, he usually pops up just after I've clicked the exit button. Is Jack Attack there? No. Okay. How's life up in Glasgow, isn't it, Jack Attack? How's life up there? What's the weather? It'll be getting cold this time of year, I would expect. Oh, let me just clear sleep out of my eyes. I look a little bit brown. Not bad considering I've been trying to stay out of the sun most of the year. Dry for a couple of hours. That's what I remember when I lived in Scotland. I wasn't very far north. I was right at the bottom end really, Dumfries. But it didn't half rain a lot in winter. It didn't half rain a lot, full stop. But yeah, she does. Rose says that I'm handsome. I know. I don't know. She probably needs to get to Specsavers. Who else is lurking? Come on. Let's count them down. We've got Jack Attack, Karen, Mr. S. We got Oscar, Vestino. I think that's it, is it? For a while. I don't know if is Rose still here. Oh, Anthony. I don't know whether Anthony stayed or whether he was just a flying visit. Josie stepped away for a little bit, I think. Tom wasn't that long ago. That might be everything. That might be everyone. Maybe we're all here. Maybe we're all chatting. Back to the bottom. Okay, folks. So yeah, we survived the first big storm of this winter. Well, winter's not the right term, is it? It's not the first big storm of this year because spring had some heavy rain, but it's the first of this half of the year as we go into autumn and winter. We survived the first biggie. And aren't we only, what's the day? Oh, it's the 30th, isn't it? September. So tomorrow is the first day of October. Tomorrow? Hold on, what time am I on? Oh, 1 more hour. We got 1 more hour left of September. What's that football score? Okay, Liverpool lost 1-0. Scrolling. I don't know. I got another score in the top corner that said something like 5-0, and I've got no idea who it was. Might have been Barnsley or Morecambe, losing by a lot. Okay, folks, thumbs up if you haven't already. Last September day, yeah. But when was the equinox? 23rd. So we're only like a week into autumn, I believe. Astronomical autumn. Oh, just pour myself another. Don't mind me. Pour yourself one if you haven't already. Not too big a one though, just it's a big glass, so not too much. Oh. Oh yeah, I poured it but didn't take a drink, that's bad. Cheers folks, especially to anybody who has hit the thumbs up button. Always appreciated. Karen says it'll soon be Christmas. Indeed. I usually do a post on June the 25th, something along the lines of, may I be the first to wish you a very Merry Christmas. Isn't there, I read somewhere not long ago, there's a tradition starting in Australia of having a kind of a Christmas celebration on June the 25th, so that it's winter. They get because the seasons are reversed. Rather than having Christmas in the middle of summer, or maybe as well as having the real Christmas in the middle of summer, they're doing one June the 25th. So you are live. Do you have a Christmas list? You and your, have you got a list? What do you need? What do you want? You know, I'm rubbish at all that stuff. Do you know how long it took me to prepare that shopping list the other bloody day? About a week. I knew you were going to ask, so I sat down and tried to put together a fucking list of stuff to ask for. Oh, and get this. Before I even got around to using any of the carrots, one of them's gone manky in the bag. Fuck. How long has it been? 5 days. So now I've got to dig out a manky carrot and wash the others off so that they haven't got mankiness on them. That's not annoying. When you pick up a carrot and your fingers just go through it, it's almost as bad as picking up a potato and having your fingers go through it. And yet onions seem to last forever. I got to clean out. I was saying before, obviously I need to rearrange everything in the field here again, with it all moving in the storm. Potatoes do really, really smell when they go bad. They really do. Especially when they go mushy and you put your finger through and it kind of pops and kind of sprays out a little bit. It's like it builds up pressure inside its own skin. It goes, and they stink vile. And wherever it sprays, and no matter how much you wash your hands, you can still smell that crap on them after. Gross, says Mr. S. You are correct, sir. You are correct. They're vile. They're really gross. Now, carrots don't smell as bad, but the texture of your finger going through is... yeah. What's this? You're agreeing with Josie about something. Potato stinks more. Or was it the too shy comment? So too shy to make a list and ask for things that I want or need. Yeah. I was brought up properly. I'm not comfortable needing help, wanting help, asking for help. It's difficult. It's difficult for me to do. Yeah, when I do get back to reality, I will be passing it on. I will be paying it forward to other people in unfortunate circumstances whenever I'm able to. It's about all I can say, folks. That's my intention if I ever get back to normality. Try to make a list, something or other, listening to him on the Hangouts. Yeah, people. Karen does that. Yeah, she's really. People are really generous. Sometimes I'll just be discussing something and I'll say something that's gone wrong or something that might be useful, and I'm not asking. I'm just saying, oh, this broke or that broke or. There was a time I was talking about how my backpack, my rucksack, was falling apart. One of the straps had entirely gone and the other one was on the last few threads. I went off to the park the next day with Tina, back when she could walk, and we came back and there was a rucksack sat there and it had things in it. I think it was that was carrots, wasn't it? I'd been bitching about how carrots had nearly doubled in price. You could buy a kilogram of carrots for €1, and when I went to the shop they didn't have any. I was spending the last of my money, I think, and I could only buy a half kilo, and they were like 90 cents for a half kilo. So someone had gone to a different supermarket, bought a kilo of carrots, put them in the rucksack, and brought it round and just left it there outside the tent for when I got back. I wasn't asking. I was just commenting that how difficult it was to walk with this thing, and every now and again another stitch would go and it would be a problem. And I got a new. So people do listen and do arrive and do. It's like the time that Tina, I washed some of my cookery items. I had like a measuring cup, you know, the marked, the one for weighing flour and sugar and milk, graduated measuring cup, measuring jug. I'd washed it and I'd put it to dry, and then Tina knocked the bloody chair over. The thing landed on the ground and then the chair bounced and landed on the broke it to pieces. The next thing I know, someone's brought me a plastic box, a tote box, and a measuring cup and some other bits and pieces. I'd have to look back at the video to remember everything that was in that box. Just from mentioning that my dog had been a nuisance and had broken my measuring cup. Don't think I've got one at the minute actually, but shh, don't tell Karen or Josie, because shh, you see, I just mention shit and Vitruvium, test my fridge on your power station this weekend. Okay, mate. I thought it was a weekend after. Oops. I'm about to remove you or block you. That was an accident. I double clicked by accident. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, that's a great idea, mate. Hold on. A compressor fridge, yeah. Karen wants me to go for a more powerful EcoFlow, then get a fridge. They're not cheap, Les, they're not cheap. This one was about 250, 260 euros. How much was your Delta 3? Low power, charge your phone. The cable is over there. Hold on, folks. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. What can I do? I can put that on there. Where are we? There we go. I can see whether I can push this. Oh, I can't, can I? Oh, could I? Just about hand over the fucking camera. Tina, no. Tina, no. Oi! Tina! No, no, no. Okay. Hold on, folks. Hold on. Tina, girl. Shush. Quiet, quiet. Tina, quiet. Tina, quiet, quiet, quiet. Oi! Quiet. It's just people walking past. Okay, folks, I'm back. I have actually managed to put the sponge on, despite the cable being there. It's not on very well, but it's better than nothing. Let me see where we are. What was I talking about before? Let me just take a quick swig. Folks, we're 1 away from 20 on the thumbs ups, if anybody's of a mind to help a tramp out. I still can't get over how sharp that is. Oh! I would start with a more powerful income flow. I think it was £800. Yeah, you see, that's way out of my... Now, I know you didn't get the base model of that, did you? You went for a... Is it a Delta 3 Pro or Delta 3 Max or something? Did he give my number to you? He did. He did. I'm not sure that first part. It's now on my list. It's now on my list, maybe. Test my fridge. That was Ryan. Okay, Karen and Josie are arranging to meet up. Hold on. Karen, you haven't moved from 222. Oh, Balcones. Okay. Measuring cup. Okay, I'm with you now. I got you. That was adding it to your list. Don't do that. You'll have me just thinking up other things. You'll have me thinking up other things. I'm not saying anything now. I have to watch what I bloody say now, don't I? I nearly gave my name away there again. Talking to myself, I nearly told myself to shut up, and I nearly said my name. Come up with stuff then. No. I was brought up better than that. No. Okay, folks, where are we? Oh, we hit 20. Thank you to whoever did that. Appreciate you. Let me show my appreciation properly. Cheers. I'm going to have to drink that more slowly. The sharp, is it bitterness? Sharpness, I don't know, I haven't got a better word. Mr. S is off. Thank you very much for attending, sir. Probably catch you tomorrow in Scruff Dogs. Although just lately I've been falling asleep in them. No offence to Scruff Dog, it's just me and my sleeping pattern. Come up with stuff. No, I'm not doing that. Not doing that. Okay, folks, what can we talk about now? Or are we at an end? A breeze. Well, a wind. Quite warm. The breeze is warmer than the surrounding air. Or maybe I'm only saying that because I'm in a jumper. I got my sweater on. Catch you later, Mr. S. Okay, folks. Science topics, maybe? Do we want to cover some? Some sciencey stuff? Have I talked about Huntington's disease yet? For the first time ever, they have a treatment that works. Slows the progression of the disease down to roughly a third of what it was. It's a terrible disease, Huntington's. If you've got the gene, you're guaranteed to get the disease. And from usually early to mid-20s onwards, physical deterioration leading to death. And we now have a way to slow it down by about a third. Slow it to a third. Which means that some people could live their entire lives, potentially, without getting active symptoms. And if you've got the gene, you've got a 50% chance of passing it on to your kids. And like I said, anybody who has the gene is 100% guaranteed to get the disease. And it's a nasty disease. So a treatment, that's great. I like that. No, it's not cheap. There's a whole question about whether, like, the NHS in the UK will pay for it or not, because it's so expensive. At the minute, did I hear right that like a lifetime course or whatever is 2 million? 2 million. I'm lost as to whether you guys are talking to each other or to me. Where are you talking about? I think that's you talking to Karen, yeah? But a treatment for Huntington's disease. Now, interestingly, can I say this? My ex, her surname was Huntington. Well, she was a doctor, so she's in the clear. I think it was the name of the doctor that isolated or identified it as a separate disease. I don't think it was the name of the people who got the disease. Yeah, Huntington's disease. Yeah. But yeah, I just thought I like to keep an eye out on. It's not a cure, but major leaps forward in treating diseases. You get a lot of reports in newspapers that overhype a claim, that take some early study and present it as if, whoa, we've got a cure. And it's not that. But it is a real, genuine treatment for Huntington's disease for the first time. And that, I think we should celebrate that. In fact, we will. We'll toast to that. To the doctors and researchers, scientists, etc., who gave us a major advance against one of the nastiest diseases out there. To the to the scientists, doctors, researchers, etc., who are propelling us forward in the fight against Huntington's. Cheers. Josie's off to watch a film. Enjoy. Is it a good one? Do you know what you're going to watch, or are you just going to go pick a film on Netflix or something? Oh, what was that, darling? What's going on? You fall over? Careful, careful. Careful, careful. Okay, folks, I'm probably going to call it quits in about 1/4 of an hour, maybe. Oh, it's Peter's choice. Okay. Bye, Josie. Catch you later. Yeah, about 1/4 of an hour, folks, which will be roughly 2.5 hours in, I think, unless his counter got stuck. Where are we? 11:21. Time do I start? It was supposed to be 9, wasn't it? And I was about 5 minutes late. So that sounds about right. That sounds about right. If you get enough comments going, if enough people talk, I might find a way to keep going into October. But I don't know if I can just prattle on my own for 45 minutes. I'll need some input, folks. Input! Johnny number 5. Johnny 5 is alive. What was the name of that film? Was it Ali Sheedy? It was Ali Sheedy, wasn't it? The actress. You had the Asian bloke. And you had the robot. Short Circuit. I got there before the lot of you, probably. I did. Short Circuit. Johnny 5 is alive. Input. Okay, come on, folks. Talk to a tramp. You know you want to. Let's move that slightly. No, if you don't, we'll have to call it quits early, but let me just double check that chat hasn't frozen. It just looks like it's frozen because you're not talking to me. Okay, folks. Dead air is gonna lose me viewers. Nobody's talking. What else can I think of to talk about, folks? I don't think I've got anything else. I saw a couple of stories earlier today. Let me... There's a bloke called Ben Miles who often has interesting topics to cover. Let me go and find. Give us a second. Don't be jumping away. Don't be leaving yet. I'm still here. I'm just trying to find a topic for you all to talk about. I saw him with a couple of, and now I can't find anything. There's a headline that I saw that I didn't look at the story. This is from a bloke called Hank Green. The Brazilian butt lift, plastic surgery on your backside, might help treat cancer. I'll have to read that one later. I don't want to be. I just want to use this as a reminder. Okay, there's Ben Miles about making space mice babies from frozen stem cells. There was another one, and I can't find it. Why can I not find it? Am I just misremembering? Alright, let's talk about space baby mice. Or baby space mice. So here was the topic. When you're in space, you get exposed to radiation. And certain amounts of radiation will damage sperm cells. And they found a way now of sending not sperm into space, but they send the stem cells that can become sperm into space, and they're kind of more protected from the radiation while they're in this form, in this earlier stage. I was going to say the body, but that's not the right word. The cell has a better ability to repair itself because it's still a stem cell. It's not a sperm cell yet. It's going to change into one later. So these cells can be in space, take on, I think he said the equivalent of about 20 MRI scans in radiation. And then when they brought the cells back down to Earth and injected the core of the cell, like the DNA from the middle, into an empty sperm cell waiting to be populated with DNA, it propagated with a much higher percentage chance of working. So potentially, if we ever do like some kind of deep space exploration, we can protect rather than protecting sperm cells, you protect the stem cells that will become sperm cells. And so we could do like deep space stuff and then still procreate afterwards. Although initially it would be in vitro rather than in vivo. So that's an interesting development. Potentially, maybe. I mean, it's mice rather than humans, but you don't do experiments with humans until you've tested it on many other things first. But always a good move. Progress is progress. Let me scroll. I saw Keith arrive. My friend is over in Torrevieja at the moment. What is the big black beetles in the grass, Mike? Big black beetles. I don't know. Some of them are just big black beetles. Some of them can be, if they've got like transparent wings, that's a cicada, I think. It's like a cross between a big fly and a beetle. Those are big and I think transparent wings. Those are the really noisy things, like a super loud cricket. So it could be those. I'm not sure. It could just be some big black beetle, like a, what do the Egyptians call those ones? Scarab beetle. I don't know. Big must be the rain. The rain tends to cause a flourish of quite a few insects in the days following the rain. You get a lot of flies in the days after rain. A lot of flies and an increase in the number of mosquitoes in the days and maybe weeks after. They're like the stagnant water. So if any settles anywhere and isn't thrown away. But some flies bury their eggs in the ground and wait for the rain, and then their larvae or whatever come out and take off. I'm not sure of the life cycle, I'm not sure of the periods involved, but Fisher Stevens, a very white guy, now regrets playing an Indian character in Short Circuit. Was he the main one? Was he the one that was building and maintaining it wasn't supposed to be an Indian man. I haven't watched it in years, but Ben was actually supposed to be a white grad student, but director John Badham decided that it'd be better to have the character be Indian. So what they do the fucking teabag thing, the they used to do that, didn't they? You see a lot of films from the 40s and 50s where the staining is uneven. People like do you know Lola Brigida? And who was the Argentinian lass? Sophia Loren. Argentinian, maybe? Don't think she was actually Italian, was she? I'm not sure. But there's a few films where they play like gypsy girls or something, and you can see the teabag staining, yeah, it's uneven as hell. And they've got all that brown going on, and then like there'll be these bright blue or green eyes shining out. Yeah. And also, didn't Peter Sellers did one, didn't he? In the turban and what have you. Same kind of mottled colouring. Let me just go back because I did miss one. Keith Mack there said about the insects mating, or the beetles maybe. Big. Must have been the rain. Yeah, it could be. I'm not sure if that's had time to have any effect, because it was only last night and yesterday a little bit, but last night into today. I don't know if it's had time to have a big effect yet. I don't know. Don't know, folks. Right, am I ending it in a couple of minutes, or are we going to try and carry on for a bit longer? I'm easy, but I need input. But I remember a lot of films like with what's he called, Stuart Granger, and there's always a gypsy girl, and the colouring was always it's always very dodgy. You'd get the same in cowboy films with the girl playing the. I don't think you're allowed to say squaw anymore, are you? I'm going to say it. The girl playing the squaw that's been rescued, or that's marrying a cowboy or something, and you've got that same thing going on with white people trying to be. You can't even say Red Indian anymore, can you? Although I'm told they prefer that to Native American, because they don't consider themselves American. I don't know. How many lines can I cross in a 10-minute period with words that you're not supposed to say anymore? But apparently they prefer Indian because it's an indigenous person. I mean, that's basically what the word, that's how it's derived. I don't know. If I keep along on this line, I'll end up saying the other words, and I'll get myself in trouble one day. When I become rich and famous, and people start ploughing through my back catalogue to find the naughty words, they'll be there aplenty. They'll be there aplenty. Back to life. Okay, folks. Should I end it here? I think so. I think so. You've gone all quiet on me. And I'm about to get political, and nobody really likes that. It's divisive, and I lose people, I lose subscribers. So we're going to call it quits here. Just give me... Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. We're going to call it quits. Swarming this morning on the pathway. Oh, so straight after the rains. Let me see, folks. I'm gonna do the from Tina in the tradition of the channel. I'm gonna see if I can get my girl. Where's the? I keep moving the buttons around. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. You gonna say goodbye to the peoples? From Tina. From Tina. Was just letting the dogs out, says Karen. I'm just saying goodbye. Was that Oscar? From Tina. And from me, Delta Mike. Goodbye, one and all. Hasta luego.